Sup guys, you are listening to episode 4 of the Ja Lord podcast show. It is Friday, March 24th, 2017, and boy do I have a lot to talk about today. On Wednesday there was another terrorist attack, this time in London near Parliament Square. ISIS has claimed responsibility, and I do not have that much to say about this. For starters, there's the people who are blaming Islam and Muslims for this and saying that this is exactly what the Quran teaches. Like, no, it's not. And the important thing here is that innocent people died in this, and religion and politics should be left aside. And as far as the ISIS claim of responsibility, I urge everyone to please take it with a grain of salt. The media is failing to differentiate between ISIS inspired and orchestrated by the main group, which I feel plays directly into the hands of terrorists and does nothing more but spread more fear and more terror, and gives some of these lone wolf attackers notoriety, which is exactly what they seek, and they shouldn't be allowed to get it. Even though this attack had a low death toll of like 5 people, because the perpetrator was Muslim, it's getting like days and could possibly get weeks of round-the-clock news coverage and is in the front page of all the big newspapers. Meanwhile, just as many people die every day in our inner cities here in the US as a result of gun violence, gang violence, etc., etc. Also, last week there was a double suicide bombing in Damascus, Syria that killed 31 people. And there was no pray for Damascus hashtag. The Eiffel Tower didn't go dark for Damascus. That just shows that the media only seems to care about white people killed by terrorists, not other Muslims, other brown people. Also, while the world was heavily focused on the London massacre, 230 Iraqi civilians were killed in Mosul by coalition airstrikes, all because they happen to be in an area where ISIL operates out of. See, that's the thing with U.S. foreign policy that pisses a lot of people, including myself, off. These coalition airstrikes kill way more innocent civilians than they do actual terrorists. And those are people's wives, their children, their grandparents, parents, pets, even babies. When you murder someone's loved ones by pushing a button thousands of miles away, they're gonna be out for revenge. All in all, I don't have much to say about this incident that I haven't covered in some of my previous podcasts and videos, but I will say this once again: to those of you exploiting this incident to spread Islamophobia and hatred, please stop. Only helping the actual terrorists achieve their goal. I was looking at the comments on the London terror incident on social media, and I was like, somebody overseas could see this and think that this represents the West, this represents America, and it doesn't. Just as not all Muslims are terrorists, not all white people are racists. And now moving on to the next topic, Donald Trump. Alright, so get this. Donald Trump is sending his legal team after a 17-year-old girl who made a parody website featuring these kittens punching a caricature of Donald Trump. To that I say, oh come on Donald, it's just a parody website. This reminds me of that Palestinian girl last year who got jailed over her Facebook and YouTube poems. And that also reminds me, they just confirmed David Friedman as Trump's ambassador to Israel. This is a man who called liberal Jews who side with Palestine worse than the Capos. And for those of you who don't know what the Capos are, they were Jews during the Holocaust who sold out to the Nazis in exchange for special privileges. David Friedman is also a huge supporter of Israeli settlements and a vocal opponent of Palestinian statehood. Real nice guy, not. If Friedman had made those remarks in a country like England or France, he'd be in jail under their hate speech laws. Anyways, back to Donald Trump. Trump's pushing this new thing called the American Health Care Act, and it is not good from what I hear. Apparently, working families are going to see their health care costs go up through the roof, while millionaires and billionaires are going to see like massive tax breaks. Also, a lot of Trump voters are now regretting their decision after seeing that he's going to take their health care, and It's one dude who attended 45 Trump rallies is now opposing our Führer-in-Chief. Also, the Trump campaign's been under investigation since July 2016 for its ties to Russia and Vladimir Putin. The media was going on and on about Hillary and her email investigation, but James Comey didn't even once mention the Trump campaign was under investigation during the election season. Another thing I was reading about today is that the Senate Republicans voted to kill internet privacy. Apparently, the GOP wants to sell your web browser history to third parties, which I think is a big no-no. A lot of people are going to be hurt by this new policy. There are some really sick people in this world who I do not want to see their internet history. But in all seriousness, nobody really has any privacy anymore in this country. Moving on to the next topic. I've been seeing commercials for the new Ghost in the Shell remake, and it looks really cheesy just judging by the commercials. And I don't think they should have cast Scarlett Johansson as Motoko Kusanagi, the lead role. Which reminds me that Scarlett Johansson is the official ambassador for the company SodaStream, which has been on the Israeli boycott list for years and is one of Israel's #1 exports. Plus, Scarlett Johansson is very aware of this, and apparently she's a big supporter of settlements in the West Bank. I got the original Ghost in the Shell movie as a present for my 15th birthday, and I will be watching that instead of going to the movies to see the new remake. Hollywood lately has been obsessed with nostalgia, and I do not like it. It's been mostly reboots, remakes, sequels, and prequels. And honestly, we need some fresh ideas here. Last thing I want to talk about before I close out this podcast is the new Wonder Woman remake. Or more specifically about Gal Gadot, the actress who plays Wonder Woman in the new remake. In addition to being a Hollywood actress, Gal Gadot is an active member of the Israeli Defense Forces, and she openly hates Palestinians. The Israeli Defense Forces commit regular and horrific human rights abuses on a daily basis and have this shoot-to-kill policy. Because of the shoot-to-kill policy, every single Palestinian alive today has lost at least one family member to the IDF forces. However, I'll continue talking about Israel-Palestine another time. Well, that concludes episode 4 of the Ja Lord podcast show. Once again, it is Friday, March 24th, 2017. Peace.